Hi, it's Wednesday, March 30th. Welcome back to the garden. Even though it feels pretty cold to me, I'm not worried about the brand new potatoes. They're coming through the deep mulch just fine. It's not going to freeze tonight, so I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, it's raining. I think Old Man Winter rolled over and yawned. It's a little cool today, but I got a question from a viewer. So let's talk about mulch. Now, if I had tilled up this garden with the amount of rain that I got, I couldn't be walking out here. I'm standing on top, I'm clean. The deep mulch garden has a great benefit that way. If this had been tilled up, I'd be ankle deep or deeper in mud. I had a viewer send me a question about using sawdust for mulch. Now, if you've been watching my story, you know I've transitioned from tilling to this deep mulch. I've also discovered if you want to make a small change, change the way you do things. If you want to make a big change, change the way you see things. I changed the way I see things about sawdust and a mulch. Come on, let's take a look. Now, even traditional gardeners say don't put down sawdust. So I thought I'd just put some sawdust down right along this edge, and it would keep the weeds down. Well, look at this. Grass growing right on up through there. So evidently, it's not really bad for plants. Got a couple other weeds. And I got this about 2 inches. So I think you really do have to put it down 4 or 5 inches thick. Now the other thing is, I don't think there's going to be a problem growing in it in the garden or using it as a mulch. The only real negative comment I got about using sawdust, I went ahead and did some studying on this, is it binds up nitrogen. But that's if you till it in. But all the mulches will bind up nitrogen if you till it in. So using it as an organic on the surface for weed control to help feed the life in the soil, I think it's just fine. And using it in your compost, with some straw, some leaves, some fresh cut grass. I think it's a beautiful way to start. That's a pretty good base for when I turn to compost next week. Now the one caveat I'd say is I wouldn't use black walnut fresh sawdust if you're going to put them around your plants. I think you'll be just fine if you want to use it for paths, but it does have a plant inhibitor in it. You can get a small bale of sawdust at almost any feed store, and I think you can dress that around any of your vegetable plants, and there will be no weed seeds in it if you're worried about that at all. But if you're going to put sawdust down on your garden, you might want to mix some greens in with it. If not, make sure you put it down at least 4 inches thick or thicker if you want to use it for weed control also. The whole point about putting organics on your soil, not only is it a great weed suppressor, it feeds the life in the soil, and the life in the soil is what feeds your plants. If you'd like to know more about the life in the soil food web, click that series right there, and I'll meet you back here in the garden. I want to thank you for taking a few minutes on this miserable, dreary day and stopping by the garden and talking about mulch. There's many benefits. One of them is it'll keep your feet dry. You can stay above the ground. The other, it does feed the soil. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.